Oh. Yeah, that is massively frustrating. I think we really had a good chance of a good result then.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. As you can see right there, that is the absolute perfect way to start off this episode. All of the upgrades have worked. I've been hyping this up for so long, and I thought for sure one of them would fail, particularly the engine upgrades, but no, they all passed, and that is absolutely massive for us heading into the second half of this season. You can see in the R&D chart, we've literally caught up to Haas, so now we are in the pack in terms of just raw on paper performance versus the AI. So going forward now, things should be a little bit easier for us in terms of getting good results against the midfield. So really looking forward to this Belgian Grand Prix, which we are getting underway with today. So as you can see here, this is a comparison of Season 1. The top speed there was 315 kilometers an hour at the end of that Camel Straight. I got it right eventually. And now, this is Season 2. Doing our first laps in qualifying, you'll be able to see just the top speed we hit now. It's 326 kilometers an hour, 11 kph gain on that straight alone. So yeah, that is absolutely massive. So that's absolutely going to give us a massive performance boost when it comes to racing around this circuit. So we come to the end of our first lap. It's a 1 minute 46.0, and if I do remember correctly, the time that we set in qualifying 1 in Season 1 was a 1 minute 48.6. So 2.6 seconds gain there in just one season. That is absolutely mad. So you guys can never say anymore that we don't make progress. 2.6 seconds in a season is absolutely ginormous. It's just a shame that the AI make very similar kind of progress to us as well. So yeah, it's just down to us to continue to keep up the development, and eventually we will overtake a lot of the teams around us and get towards those top teams, hopefully in Season 3. So yeah, here we are in qualifying for the Belgian Grand Prix. We're currently sitting in P13 at the moment, so we aren't in the danger zone, which is kind of nice to see. We start our final run or middle run of the session, currently 2.5, maybe 3 tenths up as we go across the line, and we go position 12. The difference to the leader, though, 2.3 seconds. It is a long track, I know, but 2.3 seconds is still a lot of time to be down on the pole setter, which is, I don't know, a little bit frustrating. But at the same time, we are absolutely smashing our teammate Fernando Alonso 6 tenths ahead. I think we should be safe to make it through to the next part of qualifying, so we are going to fast forward and get on with Q2. So at the end of that session, 16th place. 16th place. We were P12 when we set that time. We fast forward literally 2 minutes and we've been knocked out in Q1. That's unbelievable. So once again, we have been knocked out in qualifying 1, even with the massive upgrades installed to the car. That is really, really annoying. I did not foresee the AI finding that much time at the end there. So yeah, 16th place. We've got a lot of overtaking in the race to do. We'll have free reign in terms of what kind of tyre we want to start the race on. But at the same time, that is not the way we wanted to start the second half of the season.
So here we are once again, ready to go racing through the Ardennes Forest. 4.35 miles of long straights, fast corners and massive elevation changes. It makes this not only one of the most exciting circuits on the calendar, but one that makes for some consistently high quality racing as well. Simply put it, there really is no place quite like Spa.
Okay, don't worry about making places into one, it's far too tight. Concentrate on a clean exit so you get good momentum down the Camel Straight.
So here we are then on the grid of the Belgian Grand Prix. I'm going to try not to get too downbeat about that qualifying performance. It seems like as of late, the pace just hasn't been there over the course of one lap, and I will be honest, I have set up the car to be quick over the course of the race, running with quite low downforce. I believe something like 4 or 5 wings, and we were losing a lot of time in the middle sector as well. So I feel like we are better than 16th place where we're starting at the moment. We've overcome much bigger hurdles than this in previous episodes. So who knows? With a good start, we should be okay to move forward in this race. We also have some rain as well, which we saw on the strategy team radio.
We're expecting rain in around 10 to 15 minutes.
And there you go. Speak of the devil. Rain in 10 to 15 minutes time. We might see some heavy rain as well, which will definitely spice things up. We are starting on the super soft tyres, the middle compound in terms of the tyre selection for this weekend. So we might be able to make it to that rain period without making a stop, whereas the guys who are starting on the ultras might have a much harder time of things. So there are plenty of opportunities still left for us in this race to find our way through the pack. But yeah, the first lap here on this Belgian Grand Prix is always exciting with that first lap. 5 red lights and we're underway for the Grand Prix of Belgium. Like I said, get through turn 1 cleanly and we get to the top of our rouge. That is when the party starts. Into turn 1, a couple of spots made already into 14th place, make that 13th as we go side by side with the torpedo. Hopefully it doesn't give us a bit of a squeeze up against that Emirates signage, but no, we do slot alongside there and it's all good. So now it's the time to find out just how much this car is, OP in a straight line now with the ultimate engine upgrade. We slide past a Mercedes powered Force India and Nico Hulkenberg in the process as well into the top 10 at the end of the first sector. And man, that has been a great start so far in this Belgian Grand Prix. Around the outside of a Haas and a Force India through Lake Com. We give, I think it's Perez, a bit of a squeeze around the outside there. And we move into position 8 in this Belgian Grand Prix. Amazing start. Did not expect to be overtaking guys on the ultra soft tyres here on lap 1. This has been an amazing start. I know I keep banging on about it, but yeah, I don't think you'll get much better than that this season. That is absolutely awesome. Now we come up against Felipe Massa on lap 2. No DRS to be activated just yet, but we're in rich revs. Oh no, we're actually, yeah, we are running 4.5 wings. I did mention that, but they're in the slipstream. Smash past him up the inside, and I've actually gone in a bit deep there. And Massa goes back with the switch back through Lake Com. Bit of a touch there from Sergio Perez. Didn't really know he was that close, and now he's going for a dive up the inside into the right-hander. And I think he might get me here on the ultra soft tyres. Just better grip, better traction as well, and he takes that position off of us. We do struggle as well through the middle sector with the lack of downforce that this McLaren has, but it's made even worse by the fact that we're running quite low downforce here as the race setup as well. So yeah, we just got to make sure we don't make mistakes through this middle sector and then just absolutely smash it on the straights, which we plan to do. Again, in the slipstream of Massa, this time we have DRS though, so we're able to slide right past him. Even though he has the DRS himself and slipstream from Perez, this McLaren Honda is really turning out to be quite OP now. This is really, really confidence inspiring for the rest of the season now to see that the engine is actually really competent up against other teams that aren't, Renault powered. So if I hazard to guess, I'd say that this engine now is probably on par with Mercedes, maybe just below the level of Mercedes, but it's definitely better than Ferrari, definitely better than Renault now. It's awesome to see that we're no longer vulnerable in a straight line, which is, what we've been working towards so much over the last 31 episodes of this damn career mode series. But now lap 5, we find ourselves in P5 as a lot of the leaders on the ultra soft tyres are now making their stops. The ultra soft tyres around this racetrack are pretty darn irrelevant, it must be said. They just have no longevity at all.
Looks like rain is inbound and we're expecting it in around 5 minutes. 5 minutes until the rain.
Okay, so 5 minutes till the light rain. Some of these guys on ultra soft tyres might, and I say might, just be able to stretch their tyres until that rain period, but they might be risking, punctures to do that. So it's probably not wise for those guys to do that. They might just go onto the ultra soft tyres again. To be fair, the time loss around here in Spa for a pit stop isn't that great. I think it's like 17 seconds. So for the leaders, it's definitely worth that. But yeah, we carry on to lap 7. We're now in second place in this Grand Prix. Valtteri Bottas in the lead on the ultra soft tyres. Still yet to make his pit stop. We've got Lewis Hamilton making a move on Julian Palmer, I believe it is, and he finds his way into second place. It's actually Hulkenberg he's battling away with. I can never get it right. It's just it's a miracle if I do get the driver names right if I'm looking at the Renaults, to be fair. But either way, we have Lewis Hamilton diving up the inside into turn 1. No real point there fighting that. He's on a completely different race to us, completely different tyre compound. It's a Mercedes. The best we can hope for is a bit of slipstream and DRS to drag us along on this straight. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We do have DRS, rich revs, and this is going to be a direct comparison to see how good the McLaren Honda actually is up against the works Mercedes, the fastest car on the grid in a straight line. And we actually lost nothing to Lewis there. If anything, we probably gained a little bit on that straight. So that was, yeah, really, really confidence inspiring for the rest of the season. For sure now, we've got to focus on downforce just to get that complete package versus the rest of the field. We have a yellow flag up ahead, and that is Lewis out of the race. Literally just corners after he overtook us. He is out of the Grand Prix, and we retake second place in this Belgian Grand Prix. Nico Hulkenberg on his super soft tyres is diving in. I feel like that's the wrong move because my supers are still holding out fairly well, just below 50%. We can still stretch these out for another few laps in case that rain does hit. Another team radio.
Okay, some information on Bottas. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Are you serious? Problems for Lewis Hamilton, and now we have problems for Valtteri Bottas. We'll follow on board here in the third-person replay camera. He doesn't have any tyre punctures. He still has his front wing, so it must be some kind of mechanical issue slowing him down. But going through there, it doesn't look like he was going too slow. So, yeah, this race has really opened up for us. We now find ourselves in second place, defending from Sebastian Vettel now. But if Bottas has a problem, then we could potentially get the lead of this race, depending on how the rain period goes for us. But as you can see, it's raining pretty hard now. We might be diving into the pits at the end of this lap. We'll just wait for the call from Jeff if that does happen. And now we're actually getting it from Jeff. The alternate strategy, if Vettel does dive into the pits himself, then we will follow him through. I don't want to be the kind of guy who just, in the past dives in way too early, being way too aggressive, but it looks like Vettel is doing the same thing, so we're going to follow suit, go onto the intermediate tyres, and rejoin the race from there. So now it's just a case of a battle of the pit crews now in pit lane to see who's going to get second place in this Grand Prix. The car may not be that great, but the pit crew certainly is. It's a nice stop, 2.2 seconds. Unfortunately, not good enough. For some reason, we ghosted through Vettel there and had to concede effective second place in this Belgian Grand Prix. A little bit unfortunate there. Perfect timing as well to dive into the pits. Massive shout out to Vettel as well for doing that. If it was probably up to me, I probably would have carried on for another lap if I had clean air there, but we did make the right call in the end there, just shadowing whatever Vettel did. I believe Bottas and that was Daniel Ricciardo staying out the extra lap, and so they lost a whole shed load of time there on a pretty wet track on dry tyres, so they've rejoined well behind the pack there. So Vettel now leads this race. We find ourselves in second, so it's kind of one step forward, one step back at the same time, but as each passing lap goes, we are solidifying our place on the podium today for this Belgian Grand Prix, really pushing hard. I'm not going to lie here, the intermediate conditions are not suiting this car. I really should have planned for this a little bit better. I should have realized it was raining, because when it comes to wet weather racing at this place, you need higher downforce in order to be competitive in the order. Sebastian Vettel is out. He's completely gone.
Okay, I'm not sure. I think I might have an engine failure. Yeah, I think that's it.
That is unbelievable. Sebastian Vettel, our race leader, is out of the Belgian Grand Prix, and he was so calm about it as well. Just saying, I have an engine failure, pulling off to the side, and that is the end of his day. We now lead this race from Max Verstappen. My brain is still processing what has just happened right now.
We predict this heavy rain to ease up in around 15 minutes time.
Okay, so taking a breather here. We're actually going to do something a little bit risky. I asked Jeff what was going on with the weather. He said it's heavy rain conditions at the moment. 7 laps to go. Make that 6 now. You guys are probably going to think I'm crazy for doing this, but I want to have a chance at winning this race now. With Max Verstappen leading the race, I believe we have the pace to withstand the pressure of a Red Bull. So I thought, let's do this. Let's go for the race win. Valtteri Bottas down the order. We only have to overtake a couple of Red Bulls, some Williams, a Renault, and with the conditions on our side, potentially in the next few laps, I think we get our second race win of the season. It just depends on the weather now. So, you know, we're trusting Jeff here. We're believing in the strategy that the forecast that it said it was going to rain heavier. So I'm hoping that the game can really look after me on this one. You can see it is raining a little bit heavier. There's a bit of spray off of Nico Hulkenberg's car ahead, but as we get ready to start the race once again, it does look a little bit heavier. So fingers crossed we have the grip to make our way through the field now, as we have, I think, 5 laps to go after the commencement of this one. So here we go, ready for the restart here. A lot of cars going slowly. They are indeed pulling off into the pit lane, so half of the leaders there opting to go onto the wet tyres. They did that at the most ill-timed time in this Grand Prix. They've just completely given away all their track position, and they're going to be last out of everyone in this field. Unfortunately, I can report that Fernando Alonso was one of those drivers. I mean, typical. But either way, we find ourselves in P4. Next up is Daniel Ricciardo, and we should be able to fly past him on this straight, so long as we can get through our Rouge. That is very, very slippery through there. I had to shift down to 7th gear and just kind of lift off through there. But in terms of straight line speed, we absolutely dominate the Red Bulls in the speed traps. So there we go. That is 3rd place and on the podium for this Belgian Grand Prix. It is nice to see that the grip actually is there. It is still fairly close in terms of pace between the Inters and the Wets. The Wets, I'd say, are still the better tyre. Maybe a second or two in terms of lap time. Next up is Valtteri Bottas. Still holding down P2. Max Verstappen leads this race still. So we'll see what happens with that. But now they actually dive into the pits themselves, and they will be diving onto the wet compound tyres in this Belgian Grand Prix. Daniel Ricciardo, though, unfortunately for him, didn't want to double stack, and he stays out on the intermediate tyres. And I can actually just say now that it's actually lightening up in about 5 minutes' time. So if Daniel Ricciardo stays out, he might be on a pretty good strategy here, but I believe he pits at the end of this lap anyway. So now the effective order is us from Bottas. Perez just got overtaken, so he drops down to 3rd, and the gap to them is about 10-11 seconds. And really, for us, it's just about maintaining this gap. We know how fast the Mercedes is. I think they're about 2 seconds a lap faster than us. We just got to maintain this gap as the rain continually dissipates away in this Grand Prix. It is pretty down heavy at this stage, but yeah, just trying not to think about it. The fact that Valtteri Bottas is closing me in at 3 to 4 seconds a lap now. The gap is 5 seconds as we head on to the final lap of this Belgian Grand Prix. Just doing everything I can to make sure I don't make mistakes. I can just still continue to run at a fast pace. We're running rich revs on the straight, lean through the corners just to manage the wheel spin and keep the rear end in check. But actually, as I say that, I'm in standard, and because of that, we've actually lost the back end on the curb, on the grass. Massive slide there, had to catch it at the last second, but yeah, very, very scary moment. That would have leaked about a second or two extra to Valtteri Bottas, and now with half a lap to go, the pressure has just been absolutely piled on. The gap is 1.3 seconds back to Valtteri Bottas. I'm really cutting this fine. I knew that he was faster than us, but I didn't expect it to be this fast. I am so glad that this race is only 22 laps long. If it was 23, then we'd be in a whole world of trouble. But guys, through the final chicane, the bus stop chicane, it looks like it's going to be our second race win of the season. And man, have we really, really had to wait for this one. Across the line, second race win of the season. Get it.
That's a race win. You've really been great today.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race from the McLaren team, and I'm really happy to see them there on the top step of the podium.
I can't believe it. Second race win of the series, and it's come in the McLaren Honda just at the right time, just after getting the massive upgrade to the engine, the downforce, and yeah, what a race that was. At the Belgian Grand Prix, power track, it was probably one of the last things I'd expect after qualifying 16th on the grid. Absolutely huge gain for us, not only in the race, the championship, constructors, everything. That has been absolutely mega for us. If it wasn't for the ultimate engine upgrades, you know, I don't know if we would have won that race. It was able to put us in a position where we were a lot further up the road than what we should have been, and we just had enough at the end there to keep Valtteri Bottas behind. So, yeah, I mean, fairly lucky race in the end there that not only Vettel retired, Hamilton retired as well. We had to take the gamble under safety car to dive onto the wet tyres. Without that, I feel like we just wouldn't have had the pace to keep Valtteri Bottas at bay there, but I don't know, a bit more downforce and we probably would have been a bit stronger in the wet there. I did feel a lot more comfortable though in the wet as opposed to in the inters. In intermediate conditions, the car just felt dreadful. There was just no grip at all, but I'm so glad the car was a lot better at the end of the race there on the extreme tyres. But yeah, there we go. Another race win in the end. A win is a win, and we have really, I think, solidified our place in the top 6, I believe. I don't think Daniel Ricciardo will beat us now, especially with the added upgrades we're going to have coming in the future. I believe, if I haven't mentioned it already, we're going to be doing another downforce upgrade for the next race, the Italian Grand Prix, and it's going to be front downforce. Not the kind of upgrade that you expect heading into that race, but you know, we need downforce. It's just plain and simple. If we have extra front downforce, it means we can run lower front wings at that race and hopefully be just as competitive there. I think we might be even more competitive at Monza, to be honest, because the straight line speed was there. It's just the, like I said, I keep banging on about it. It's the downforce that's really letting us down at this stage now. So that's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed. Another race win. Enjoy it while it lasts, because we're not going to see too many of those until next season at least. So if you enjoyed, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more F1 2017 videos. Monza is up next. Hopefully we can have another good result there, and who knows, maybe even another podium. Until then guys, I'll see you next time.